What if I told you that the biggest AI stock by 2030 might not be NVIDIA? I know that sounds hard to believe. Almost everyone is talking about NVIDIA. Some investors are betting on AMD. But there's another company quietly making billions from the AI revolution without getting nearly as much attention. That company is Broadcom. So here's the question. If you could invest in only one AI stock today, would you choose NVIDIA, Broadcom, or AMD? Stay with me until the end because I'll compare all three companies, reveal which one I would personally choose, and explain why my answer might surprise you. Before we begin, remember this is not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. Now let's get started. NVIDIA is the biggest name in artificial intelligence today. Its powerful GPUs are used by companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and OpenAI. Whenever someone trains a large AI model, there's a very good chance NVIDIA hardware is involved. That's one of the biggest reasons why the company has grown so quickly over the past few years. But here's something many investors don't think about. A great company doesn't always mean a great investment. Sometimes a stock becomes so popular that its future growth is already reflected in the share price. That raises an important question. Can NVIDIA still deliver the same incredible returns by 2030? Or will future growth slow as competition increases? That's where AMD enters the story. AMD has already proven that it can compete with some of the biggest technology companies in the world. It challenged Intel in the CPU market. Now it's targeting the AI chip market. Major cloud companies don't want to depend on just one supplier. They want alternatives. That's creating opportunities for AMD to grow its AI business. If AMD continues improving its AI hardware and software, it could become one of the biggest winners over the next several years. But there's still one problem. NVIDIA has a huge advantage with its software ecosystem and developer tools. Winning customers away from NVIDIA won't be easy. And that's exactly why the next company becomes so interesting. Now let's talk about Broadcom. This is the company that many retail investors overlook. It doesn't get the same headlines as NVIDIA. It doesn't create the same excitement as AMD, but that doesn't mean it's any less important. In fact, Broadcom is quietly becoming one of the biggest players behind the AI revolution. The company designs networking chips and custom AI silicon that help connect massive AI data centers. As AI models become larger and more powerful, data has to move faster than ever before. That's exactly where Broadcom comes in. Without high-speed networking, even the most powerful AI chips can't perform at their best. That's why some of the world's largest technology companies are working closely with Broadcom to build next-generation AI infrastructure. And then came another game-changing move. Broadcom acquired VMware. At first, many investors were confused. They wondered why a semiconductor company wanted a software business. But now the strategy is becoming much clearer. Broadcom is no longer just a chip company. It now has a growing software business that generates recurring revenue. That gives the company another source of income even when the semiconductor market slows down. This makes Broadcom different from many of its competitors. It has exposure to both hardware and software. That's a combination investors often like because it can create more stable, long-term growth. Now here's where things get really interesting. Imagine it's the year 2030. Artificial intelligence has become even bigger than it is today. Every major company depends on AI. Data centers are larger than ever. The demand for faster networking keeps increasing. Who benefits from that? Not just NVIDIA, not just AMD. Broadcom could be one of the biggest winners without receiving the same level of attention. And that's exactly why some long-term investors believe Broadcom could continue surprising the market over the next several years. So now comes the big question. Which company has the best chance of winning by 2030? The answer isn't as simple as picking the company with the biggest name. Every one of these companies has a different advantage. NVIDIA is still the undisputed leader in AI chips. Its technology, software ecosystem, and relationships with the world's biggest cloud companies give it a huge competitive edge. If AI spending continues to grow at today's pace, NVIDIA will likely remain one of the strongest companies in the industry. But there is one thing investors should never ignore. Valuation matters. When a stock becomes everyone's favorite, expectations become incredibly high. That means even great earnings can sometimes disappoint investors if they're expecting perfection. Now let's look at AMD. AMD has the potential to grow much faster from its current position. If it wins more AI customers and continues improving its technology, the company could deliver impressive long-term returns. The opportunity is definitely there, but so is the risk. AMD still has to prove it can consistently compete with NVIDIA in the AI market. That won't happen overnight. And then there's Broadcom. This is where things become really interesting. Broadcom isn't trying to beat NVIDIA at everything. Instead, it's building the infrastructure that helps AI systems work faster and more efficiently. Its networking business continues to benefit as companies spend billions of dollars building larger AI data centers. At the same time, its software business provides another stream of revenue that many investors overlook. That combination could make Broadcom one of the most balanced AI investments over the next several years. Now let's talk about price expectations. No one can accurately predict where any stock will trade in 2030. Anyone who claims they know the exact future is simply guessing. But if AI adoption continues expanding worldwide, all three companies could still have room to grow. The real question isn't which company will survive. The real question is which company can exceed investors' expectations. And that's where fortunes are made. So before you invest in any AI stock, don't just ask which company is the biggest today. Ask yourself which company could surprise the market the most over the next 5 years. Because sometimes the biggest winner isn't the loudest company. It's the one that quietly keeps executing while everyone else is watching. Someone different. And now it's time for my personal opinion. If I had to choose only one of these three companies for a long-term investment until 2030, I would pick Broadcom. Not because NVIDIA is a bad company, and not because AMD doesn't have potential. I simply like Broadcom because it offers a combination of AI growth, networking leadership, and recurring software revenue. To me, that creates a more balanced business model. NVIDIA is still an incredible company and could continue delivering strong growth if AI demand remains high. AMD also has the potential to surprise investors if it captures a larger share of the AI market. So I wouldn't be shocked if all three companies perform well over the next several years. The difference is that I believe Broadcom has a chance to quietly outperform expectations while receiving less attention from everyday investors. Of course, that's just my personal opinion. The stock market is unpredictable. Companies can face unexpected competition, economic slowdowns, or changes in technology. That's why diversification and doing your own research are always important. Now I want to hear from you. If someone gave you $10,000 today and told you to invest in only one AI stock until 2030, which one would you choose? Would it be NVIDIA, Broadcom, or AMD? Tell me your answer in the comments and explain why. I'd love to read your thoughts. If you enjoyed this comparison and want more videos about AI stocks, investing, and the biggest opportunities in the market, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.